and welcome. You're watching Medically Speaking. I'm Meenakshi Upreti. Now, just a few minutes ago, the Health Ministry has released its guideline as far as the precautionary shots are concerned. There is a varying view and perspective as far as these booster jabs, precautionary shots, as the Prime Minister called them, are concerned, especially experts are divided when it comes to jabbing children. We know that those from 15 to 18 years are going to be given Covaxin, but there are many who are advocating mix and match of vaccines. Will the government allow that? There's no clarity on that. And is it safe now, or is it time to think of vaccinating toddlers and perhaps the entire population in a span of a 3 to 6 month timeline or not? That's what we will be discussing in the next 20 minutes or so. I have Professor Anil Arora. He is the HOD of the Gastro Department from the Gangaram Hospital. I have Dr. Dodul Mandal. He's a senior consultant from the Apollo Hospital. And Dr. Saurabh Nanda. He's the ICU in charge at the Medanta Hospital. Very soon, we'll be joined by Dr. Sanjay Rai. He's the principal investigator of Covaxin. And he's created quite a stir by his views online, where he has categorically, very openly criticized the government's decision to jab children and rather adolescents 15 to 18 years of age. We will be discussing that when he joins us. For now, starting the debate with you, Professor Arora, as far as jabbing children is concerned, so where do you stand on that? We have seen that the children have been rather resilient when the second wave came into effect. But Omicron, a different ball game altogether. Yes, it's not that deadly, but it's extremely contagious. The rate of spread is much higher. Given really what we are seeing in the world, do you think that it is time that perhaps government now thinks of jabbing those below 15 years of age as well?
Yeah, Meenakshi, thank you for having me on your show. I think one thing we must remember is that the virus needs human beings to replicate. If it had its own elbow space in the adult and the elderly population, certainly it will be looking for a vulnerable population which has not been vaccinated. If you go by the population in India, 40% of our population is in the pediatric age group, that is less than 18 years. And they are more vulnerable to infection. And if you look at the transmissibility of the infection, compared to the wild virus and then the Delta virus and now the Omicron virus, this is 9 times more transmissible. Certainly is a tendency to look for an unvaccinated population, especially when you are trying to open up the school, when your cinema halls, your malls, your tourism places are opening up, children and part and parcel of the family, they will be traveling equally well. Yeah. Even though we know that the disease is far milder in the childhood and overall Omicron is milder than the Delta virus, still we cannot take risk. And I think government has taken a good decision of looking and trying to inoculate children beyond the age of from 15 to 18 years of age. The database is based on an analysis of the deaths which have occurred in the childhood age group. And according to this NTAGI group, very well led by Dr. N.K. Arora, that 75% of the children who have died have been in the range of 15 to 18 years. But certainly if more vaccines are available, especially Covaxin, if it is available, we can go down to even younger ages, because the DGC has already approved its utility in all children above the age of 12 years.
So you say that we should now look at younger ages also, those above the age of 12 years perhaps should be inoculated as well. Dr. Saurabh Nanda, since of course you will be in charge of the ICU department of the Medanta Hospital, which saw a large number of critical COVID patients who were admitted during the second wave, sir. I'm sure you did not see a large number of children, but when it comes to taking care of children in an ICU, how prepared are we? And given really the fact that we have been very heavily dependent on their natural immunity, would you agree with Dr. Arora that perhaps government should think of jabbing those above 12 years of age? And why just Covaxin? Why not open up Covishield to them as well?
I would say it's now the time has come to vaccinate children, because we have seen in the second wave also, some children had inflammatory process which was very severe. They went into multi-system organ dysfunction. They had to be given, especially other things, they have to be given immunoglobulins during the line of treatment. Some inflammation was quite severe. So the time has come not only to vaccinate children between 15 to 18 years, but they have to, children above 2 years also have to be vaccinated. The vaccines are slowly developing. all throughout the world, which are quite effective in children above 2 years of age. So in the next 6 months, or maybe by May, we should vaccinate all the children between 2 to 18 years of age, because they are now primarily at risk. Now, if this Omicron spreads, primarily it will spread in children, and especially in the immunosuppressed individuals, it will create a havoc.
Yeah.
So the time has come. It has to be done at a rapid pace. And more so, education-wise also, the children are suffering because they sit in clusters. And sometimes they develop very multi-system inflammatory syndrome. So the time has come. The rapid
come
pace.
to now think of inoculating children, and it's a very interesting point you raise that the government needs to think of inoculating those above 2 years of age. Dr. Mandal, where are the jabs? As far as the government is concerned, there really is a big lag. Yes, we have 18 crore jabs which are still lying unused, but there is still about 60% of population which has still not got the second dose. So where are the jabs? Can we think of inoculating children above 2? Is it time to do that?
Yes,
I think it's a very valid question, and if you look at the data, as of now, only 50% of the adult population have received both the doses, and they are the population who are more at risk of having severe illness, having the risk of dying from the disease. So it's more important, which I feel, that to protect the at-risk population. So what I feel, it's more important to inoculate the adults rather than targeting the kids at this moment, because the research has not shown that much significant difference either in terms of number of infections or in terms of fatalities. So perhaps the vaccine is more useful, or going to be more useful for the adult population rather than the children. And I think the opinion what Dr. Rai has given in the news and media,
Yes,
I think I agree with that philosophy. That when you are actually not expecting a lot of fatalities, then why do you waste that vaccine for them?
Why waste the vaccine for them, Professor Arora? Would you like to take that? Because you and Dr. Nanda seem to be advocating, inoculating children. And there is, as I had said right at the beginning, there is a very different line of thought which says, why waste vaccine on children when their fatality rate is already low? Perhaps we should think of boosting the entire, immunosuppressed population before inoculating children.
Yeah, Meenakshi, there are two important issues. First of all, the government is taking a staggered stand. It has not said that you just across the board, you inoculate all pediatric population. There has been data, in fact, they have been analyzing this data almost for the last 4 weeks, and they have come to the conclusion that 20% of the patients who have suffered from Omicron virus in the South Africa have been in the pediatric age group. And the sub-analysis of that group has shown that it is the older children, that is 15 to 18 years, who have been suffering from severe disease requiring hospitalization and even mortality. Problem is twofold. One is, do we have enough of Covaxin? The only vaccine which has been approved for utility in children in India is Covaxin. If you look at the way the Covaxin is manufactured, out of the total 141 crore vaccine which have been given in India, only 10% have come from Bharat Biotech, that is a Covaxin manufacturing company. 90% have come from Serum Institute of India. And the one cycle takes around 3 months to come onto the shelf. So it's not easy to produce so much of the Covaxin. I think it is a good stand taken by the government that older children, because of the high transmissibility of the infection, should be given. Nobody says that you should not be given to the all eligible adults. Nobody says that it should not be given to the vulnerable population with comorbidity in adult age. That apart, this is a subgroup which can also be tackled. What is needed is infrastructure, manpower, as well as the number of the vaccine, which is unfortunately lacking at the moment.
Right. Unfortunately, the number of vaccine is also lacking. Then perhaps isn't it time we think of mixing and matching vaccines also? I know the focus area was mostly on children today, but Dr. Nanda, why not? Why not think of mixing and matching vaccines? Because there are many studies out of India as well, which have shown that it is way more efficacious than giving the same dose of the vaccine which was administered during the first 2 cycles.
Yes, it would be great if you mix the vaccines, especially after Covishield. I think it would be a better idea if we take Covaxin as a booster dose. It's been done in our Medanta also. A lot of our doctors have also taken, especially Covaxin after Covishield, because Covaxin works on different principle and Covishield works on different principles. So the immunity of our body gets boosted up if we take mixing and matching of the different vaccines. It would be a great idea if we do that.
Okay, so you say that it would be a great idea, and also interestingly, you say that if you Dr. Medanta have taken, a cocktail of jabs, though the government of India has yet to very openly approve it. It's rather interesting to hear it on live television. But Dr. Mandal, when we speak about giving Covaxin to adolescents, I think Professor Arora had a very, very pertinent point that Covaxin takes one longer, of course, to come onto the shelves. The number of population which has been administered Covaxin is roughly about 10%. Why not give Covishield to those who are 15 to 18 years of age? I understand, for toddlers, for 2+, or for, much younger children, you have Covaxin. But when you have Covishield, which can be produced faster, why not administer it to children? What is your view on that point, sir?
See, there are a couple of things. We cannot administer something without doing a proper research. And to my understanding, the research in this age group has happened with Covaxin. So there were 3 different age groups: 2 to 6, 6 to 12, and 12 to 18, and they have received Covaxin. So whether we can translate the same result or same data with another vaccine, it remains a matter of debate. So it cannot be answered that way. And I will definitely advocate that whatever has been done during the actual research, it has to be done in the real practice. Now, coming to the other question which Dr. Arora was mentioning is very pertinent, that rather than inoculating each and every children, maybe we can define a at-risk population among them, having obesity, having asthma, childhood asthma, like that. So who are more in need of that vaccine. Thirdly, regarding this Omicron, if you see the world statistics as of now, almost 108 countries have reported more than 150,000 of cases, almost 160,000 cases. But surprisingly and very optimistically, the number of deaths are not that much. As of now, only 26. So if you do the percentage, it's in point. Right. So I am quite hopeful that this Omicron wave will not be that much severe like we have seen this during the second Delta wave. So I would still rather be more interested in vaccinating the older age group population, or the healthcare workers, or the frontliners, at least young kids and all those.
So which I agree with, but Dr. Arora, we were discussing this earlier in another debate as well. And someone raised a very important point, that how do children go and get themselves inoculated? They have to be accompanied by adults. They have to be accompanied mostly by their parents, and not grandparents, comorbid grandparents, who will very soon hopefully start getting these precautionary shots. Are we not putting the adult population, which is already a little vulnerable, in the face of this Omicron variant? Furthermore, when we have, of course, queues, people lining up to inoculate children, because children, it's a little unlikely that they will, even if they're 15, they are mostly school children, little unlikely that they will be going to centers to get themselves jabbed on their own.
I think you are very right, Meenakshi, but 2 important issues are, you see, you cannot compare the previous need for vaccination, big queues for vaccination, to the present need for vaccination. In fact, if you look at the data in Delhi, at least 95% of us already have, including a major chunk of the children, already have antibodies. That means they have been incidentally or accidentally exposed because of their association with their own adults, their sibling, parents, uncles, etc. And they are most likely protected. That is number 1. Number 2, the vaccination shortage is not as much as it was in the second wave, when everything we got, we just caught unaware totally. So the need for vaccination is different now than what was happening earlier. Now people are aware of the COVID app, and we have staggered institution of the vaccination. Say for doctors, most of the doctors will be able to have in their own hospital. They do not have to go around. Their families can have it in their own hospitals. PSUs are giving in their own setup. And I don't think there will be big staggering queues like what had happened in June and July 2021 to get the vaccination. Okay? And I'll also like to comment on this concept of mix and match vaccine.
Yeah.
This was by force, not by choice. You see, in a country like India, if you're giving 2 doses, 90% is Covishield and 10% is Covaxin. So it was by force, not by choice. It
No,
is
but sir,
against.
that is my question, that right now also for children, Covaxin is by force. It's not by choice. And what if someone did get a jab which they did not want to? Why not allow them for mix and match, or at least give clarity? Because till date, we have no clarity. Everyone has these questions in their mind. We're still waiting for the government to come with a very clear answer.
But Meenakshi should remember that, as Dr. Mandal very rightly said, you can never ever put the vaccine to a public domain without having a good, complete field trials. So what had happened with mRNA vaccination was that it had to be prematurely withdrawn from the pediatric age group because there were at least 150 cases of the myocarditis which were reported from Israel after inoculation of the mRNA vaccine. So we can make conjectures that Covishield, maybe if it is good in adult, it has to be equally good in children. But unless you put it to proper trial, you cannot do it. The only trials which have been conducted as of now have been on Covaxin, and in public domain, you cannot put it without going through the rigorous public and field trials.
On what basis did you say, Dr. Nanda, that you have, you personally know of doctors who initially got Covishield and then got Covaxin? That really seems to be, as far as some studies are concerned, the conclusion that it is a cocktail of vaccine which actually helps produce more antibodies and helps fight the virus even more.
Actually, the two vaccines work on different technology. One vaccine, Covishield, works on adenovirus vector-based technology, and the Covaxin works on different technology. So what was that? Initially, they have received 2 doses of the same vaccine, first and second dose. Then as a booster or as a precautionary dose, some people have tried to mix and match, which is still under trial. I would say it's still under trial. More studies are needed, whether they could be efficacious, whether they could harm you. This is only under trial. More studies have
trial, but there are many who, of course, are taking a cocktail.
There are many
vaccine.
who are taking like that.
That's not something which you are advocating. Got your point. That's not something which you are advocating. But Dr. Mandal, as far as even Covaxin is concerned, you did mention what Dr. Rai had to say. Unfortunately, I've been messaging, throughout this conversation. Also, he's caught up in a meeting. I'm not too sure if he'll be able to join. But as far as Dr. Rai is also concerned, and many others who are questioning the government's decision to now inoculate those between 15 to 18 years of age. There are many others who say that as far as Covaxin is concerned, the number of trials which have been conducted on the number of samples also is not adequate. So it is unscientific. What is your point on that view, sir?
I think I should better not comment on this. And this is something I think best should be explained by Dr. Rai, because he is the PI of the investigation.
Yes.
There are many occasions when we start conducting a trial, and then in between we need to change many things. Right. Eventually, even the sample size we need to change based on many parameters. So without knowing what were those parameters, it should not be correct to give some false impression on a media.
All right, fair enough. That is a question where we do need more scientific data. But, Professor Arora, we are reaching the fag end of our conversations. As far as children are concerned, we know they are vulnerable. The ones who are older, comorbid, they are vulnerable. But what about booster for the entire adult population? Because you have many countries, for example, Israel, which is already on the 4th booster. And we are saying that we need a 9-month gap in giving boosters. Do you agree with the point of view which the government has taken? What's your take on that?
I think we should know what a booster means. A booster means you already have protective antibodies in the blood, and by another inoculation, you are trying to rejuvenate the so-called memory cells, which will try to jack up your antibody production. As of now, since it is a new mutating virus, we still are not very much discernible about its biology, and we are not sure what component of the virus protection is provided by the T cells. Only thing we know is that with higher antibody levels, you are possibly able to neutralize the virus in a much better fashion. So it will attenuate the severity of the disease. It will not be able to prevent the infection. If you look at the 1,95,000 cases which are happening in US, 77% of those patients have already been doubly vaccinated.
Right.
And about 30% have already been given booster dose. So booster dose is not the panacea. Don't think if you've got a booster dose, you can just roam around. So what is needed is the COVID appropriate behavior. If you can lay your hand on booster, well and good. I don't think you should long for it unless you are in that vulnerable age group with comorbidities and with really plummeting levels of antibodies. Short of that, I think one will only become complacent if you keep on giving boosters left and right.
All right. As far as boosters are concerned, it's not a panacea. That's not really the answer to keeping Omicron at bay. COVID-appropriate behavior is the key to it. I know Dr. Mandal wanted to speak a little bit about the night curfew as well, but apologies, I'm really out of time. Thank you all for joining us. I hope this show has been as riveting and as informative for our viewers as it has been for me. Thank you all for taking all the time.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.